Okay, I hope that this is working. I'm gonna get into a better position. I don't know if this is working. I hope that this was working. Are you working? Are you working? Hold on, are you working? I think Siege is the only game that just places you in the game to die. Like, Siege does not welcome new players, but it rather throws them right into the fire. No tutorials, no hand holding, just a slow drone phase, and then within seconds of starting the round, your screen cuts to black, you died, and you don't know how. You look at the replay, and this sweat dinked you in the head with a bullet hole spawn peek through garage, and I mean, your next few rounds go the same pace. You start having your Ashe cursing your entire bloodline for going 0-6 in a casual. This is how Siege teaches. It's a bit of a rite of passage for new players. I mean, we all went through the same thing. It's a system that is very punishing to new players who pick it up, and it's hard to get past the first 30 hours, much less the first 5. The game's complexity isn't just high, but it's hostile. The sound design, the map layout, the utility timing, the verticality, the operator matchups, every mechanic in Siege is a barrier to entry. It isn't just hard to learn, it refuses to learn. But here's the thing, if you survive the curve and you keep playing through the frustration and the confusion and the wallbangs and the toxic people and the everything else, you start to actually match the pace of the other players. You start to pick up on things like how you died from that one window spawn peek on Clubhouse, and now, before running straight out from spawning, you clear the angle. You begin to notice how slow other shooters can feel sometimes because of the fast time to kill in Siege. Now granted, Siege's TTK isn't as fast as something like Call of Duty, but it is much more nuanced. Siege's brutal learning curve filters out most casual players, but the ones who do survive it become one of the most disciplined FPS players out there. Okay, now I'll actually tell you how I started playing Siege. It was back in 2017 when I was a shy kid. I mean, I didn't really talk much, but I made this one friend, and we'll call him M. Hi, M. If M loved soccer, I played soccer. If M loved basketball, I tried basketball. I was kind of a go-getter with M. I just wanted him to think I was cool. Sue me, man. What are you gonna do about me? Anyway, one day I told him I'd just gotten a PS4. His face lit up. He was talking about this game called Rainbow Six Siege for the entirety of our recess. Dude, I want to get on the monkey bars. That dude would not let me. He loved it so much and he wanted me to get it so we could play together. That same night, I went home and I begged my dad to buy it, and somehow it actually worked. I have a brown dad, and usually begging doesn't really work at all, but I think he was just happy to find out that I had a friend. Anyway, the next day, Em and I partied up, and let me be honest with you, I was terrible. I kept shooting my teammates, sprinted straight into the site without droning, and the second I saw an enemy, I panicked and missed every bullet. Needless to say, Em played one match with me before having to go, and you know what that means. He never got on. I hated how stiff the game felt. I didn't get the operators. I didn't understand why I was dying, but I kept playing, not because I loved the game just yet, but I wanted to get better than M. So I was an angry kid for a few weeks there. I raged and I slammed my controller, the usual stuff, but I cared way more than I had expected about the game. Every night I had looked up warm-ups on YouTube and I kept solo queuing and playing ranked, and slowly, but definitely painfully, I improved. But a month later I had hit Plat, and Plat is slightly above the average in rank in Siege. It honestly happened more naturally than I thought, but at some point I started to actually enjoy how intensive the game felt. It was definitely hard, but compared to the games my friends were playing at the time, it felt like I had to actually think to be good at this one, and I really liked it. Now I'm 8 years deep. Champ on console, previous champ on PC, now I'm Diamond, so I haven't played for a little while. I can't play it anymore. Legitimately, every time I load up the game, I get a nauseous feeling, and I just don't want to play it anymore. Even if I'm playing with friends, I haven't touched the casual mode in years. I only play ranked, and even in ranked, I can't be bothered to take it seriously. The game just feels so dead, and the exact same as it had been back in 2017. There's nothing drawing me back to it. That takes us to the next chapter. Now, to be fair to Ubisoft, they've tried to make Siege easier to get into. Eventually. Let's start with the one meme everyone loves. Operation Health. If you've been around long enough, you know this hellscape. It was supposed to be this big, we're fixing the game season in 2017, and even Ubisoft had put out a statement saying how there's not going to be any new operators, no new maps, and that they're putting their focus completely on fixing the poor hit detection, the bullet delays, the server crashes, and I'm telling you, it was a struggle to even load into a game sometimes. At the time, they said they were focusing on all that stuff, but did it actually work? Kind of. But mostly it made this into a community meme. Don't get me wrong, it definitely fixed issues, but the player base was so used to getting 2 new operators a season, 1 new map a season, 8 operators a year, and 4 operators a year. It felt like a gut punch. When asked if Operation Health was a good move, a Redditor explained how, quote, at the time, it certainly didn't feel that way. Looking back, it absolutely was. Hell, I wished Siege had an Operation Health 2.0, unquote. Still, I won't lie, some of those changes laid the groundwork for smoother gameplay later on. It's just that none of it helped new players actually learn how to play. Fast forwarding to 2019, they introduced the Newcomer playlist. This was actually smart. It had a limited map variety, gave you bomb-only matches, and it paired you up with only other low-level players. For a lot of people, this is the first time Siege felt like a game trying to actually teach you something instead of punishing you for just existing. In 2023, they ditched the whole thing. And they started to build a new onboarding system. That never got anywhere until in 2025, they introduced Siege X that had field training, enlisted mode, progression rewards, simplified playlists, and visual clarity, which TLDR just meant 3 maps got fire hydrants that you can shoot and pipes that you can shoot for smoke. I think it was stupid, but who am I to say anything? Like, if 2016 Siege was the military just throwing you into combat blindfolded, 2025 Siege at least gives you a helmet and tells you which direction the enemy is probably coming from. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's the first time in 8 years where I'd actually tell a brand new player, yeah, I mean, you could start now. The game won't chew you up immediately. Let's talk some real sense for a little bit. It's absolutely amazing that Ubisoft has started shifting and putting some effort into focusing on the newer players. It gives a path for the game to grow. The problem is that they might in turn have neglected the other side of the player base. One critic pointed out that, quote, a lot of Siege critics are simply bored, and that's okay. I'd be bored after playing the same game after 5 years too, unquote. That sentiment does line up with the data showing how peak concurrent users on Steam cracked 200k in March of 2024, but in May, they had catered to around 60k. That's a 70% drop in just 2 months. It bounced back after Siege X, but Steam averages in 2025 are still way lower than before. And way lower means less than 100k of its original. Players are often complaining that seasonal updates aren't enough to keep things fresh. The frustrations are all over the place, with a few people saying, quote, the game's community is very toxic. Many veteran players are very negative towards the changes that Ubisoft does to the game. Slow queue times, frequent match fails, regional mismatches, end quote. These are problems that are keeping people away from the game and not wanting to touch it. So what's going on? The issue is that Siege runs on a feast or famine cycle. This is how it works. Big update equals surge in interest. Small update means plateau. The boredom sets in and churn happens. According to data from GameSpot, March of 2025 averaged 80k players. April averaged 26k, and then it leveled out at 77k before stabilizing. When Siege X launched, it had brought a spike of 142k players, but it was still below the all-time record. So yes, Siege still has a loyal audience, and the 6 Invitational tournament hits over 500,000 players in 2024, but the long-haul players are jaded. They love the tactical gameplay and the vertical destruction, yes, but they also feel that the same hooks ring hollow if updates are too slow or too predictable. So what's the conclusion? Where does that leave us? Siege has definitely come a long way from the janky, crash-prone chaos of 2017 to a game that, at least for now, tries to teach you how to play. For new players, it's probably the most forgiving it's ever been, and that's not nothing. They're finally building a path, instead of just dropping you off a cliff. But for players like me, who've been here since before Operation Health, it's hard to ignore that the game just doesn't feel the same anymore. Whatever it is, it's not that it's bad, it's just because we've outgrown it. Or maybe it's outgrown us. The depth is there, the mechanics are sharp, and if you've never touched it before, now might actually be the best time to start. But if you've been here for years like I have, you probably feel a bit of the boredom, and that's okay too. Every game has its life cycle. The question is, are you going to be around when it takes it to a different direction here in the next few years? This is another test because I love to poop myself. Does this sound any different? Are you working? Are you working? We're gonna go play League of Legends and I'm gonna kill myself afterwards. You know. Normal Thursday night.